It's April 18th, 2023. Um, I found um, two. I started watching it, but again, the television got commandeered or taken over. So I lost access, but I watched the beginning parts of um, Strong 12. Um, Things in there, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, all right, there's a trailer that comes out, movie trailer, and that says Motion Picture Academy. I'm like, so there's something about that. Then I'm looking at it, and I'm like, all right, I've been watching it the whole time in normal psychology, where it says in Urban Diction, general audience, parental guidance, and so on and so forth, down to NC-17. And I'm like, now I am just starting to learn with Edge of Tomorrow and um, movies like that, that there's this like abnormal psychology to the normal that I have known. Um, and I'm like, Patriot Games. I didn't see the movie. I heard there's a movie out. Um, but I'm like, parental guidance. And then I'm like, what if it's not? Who's the parent? What if it's a Patriot game? Who are the Patriots? And then all of a sudden it takes on a whole different frightening level. But I watched, and then 2012, it says that this movie, Strong 12, came out. And then also they came out with The Bourne Legacy in 2012. I didn't see that movie either. Um, but I saw the coming attraction for it. And I'm like, and then something else came up on my Netflix queue. I put my own profile on the Netflix queue when I have access to the television. Um, so this way, I build my own profile on there. Because normally I'm not even looking for a portal of whatever they consider of the digital library. Um, I've been trying to stay real carefully to just whatever. Um, Knowing like wizards are at work at like Harry Potter and Hogwarts and whatever else is going on at Universal and Paramount and frightening things that I feel like I've been left out of the conversation, but it seems so much more imperative when it comes to this blank canvas of explain yourself and your self-worth. Um, which I've shared only once with the person that it matters with most. Um, so there's that. Um, but it says parental guidance, and I'm like, in general's audience and in normal psychology, growing up in with whatever, with Lynn and Lou, um, it just meant like my parents had to um, say yes or no to whether I could go see a movie. Um, there's been no, like, nobody dissected the movie and then gave me the cliff notes. Um, so that's something. And then they mentioned something at the beginning of 12 Strong that looked like it was real world events, but I again, and then there's the mention of some sounds that are like, and then I know my real life story of what's happened. And I'm in 2023, and that supposedly happened somewhere in 1993. That was one of the first attacks on this soil that happened in waking up on somebody's front lawn not knowing um, what had happened, them telling me it was one narrative, and I'm like, I don't I don't know that narrative. I'm like, what happened? Um, so there were several attacks, but then there's just nobody says anything. Um, and there's nobody to talk to about it. So, but I noticed I've been to Manhattan, and the only thing I can confirm with my eyes is that those two buildings are no longer there, for sure. Um, other than that, I'm listening carefully to the Brad look-alike and whatever's going on at whatever in construction. The word Brad means something else, a dovetail. So it's star 1978, star 8378. I'll keep an eye out for the other pieces of conjecture and just trying to figure out what parts are real or keep an eye out for. Knowing that I don't know the parent who's guiding. And I'm just, I see patterns. Um, Patterns of faces and names. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. It's Earth, solar system, Milky Way universe, galaxy is broken. What I don't understand is there was, when I returned to the city, I mean, Long Island's Long Island, the city's a city. Um, Whatever's going on with the two of them, and more of like I started to watch a little bit more out of Africa, and that whole Karen reference just totally took a turn for the worse. And I'm just like, bad reference. But it has its placement. Um, of importance at one level without all of the really harmful um, speak added to the storyline for whatever reason. But I'm just watching the conjecture and knowing of where I began, where I was moved to, and then where I was moved back to. And I'm not sure why it was like this, lack of a better term, ping pong ball. And now all of a sudden it's like I'm holding a wiffle ball. So, just trying to pick up the pieces. But I was left in the dark in one way in Long Island, but when forced towards the city, it was dark in a whole nother way. And there was no movie club to speak of. There was no getting together my senior year with all of the new people and going to see the newest movies. There was no clubs and groups that I even really knew of. I don't know if that was tailored that way. I don't know if they were streamlining it. In hindsight, if I had known, I mean, it's more like that Nick's cage just closed in, and I was just didn't even know how tight whatever was closing in around me. Didn't know what questions to ask. Didn't even know I needed to ask questions. Um, I wasn't getting instruction from anywhere. Not at home, not at school. There was no after school. There was no like prep for college. There was just silence again from every angle. It seems to be a consistent theme here in New York City for whatever reason. It's like everybody's withholding, and I don't know why.